It is 2 a.m. You are wide awake, staring blankly at the ceiling, tossing and turning, trying desperately to force yourself to sleep. As humans, our ability to think deeply is usually a massive advantage. It helps us build cities, cure complex diseases, and navigate complex real-world problems. But right now, your mind is stuck. You are replaying an awkward conversation from 3 days ago, or imagining everything that could go wrong with a project tomorrow. Instead of generating a way forward, all of this mental effort is just generating exhaustion. Your brain is operating exactly as it was designed. This repetitive thinking is a biological defense mechanism, a survival reflex that has overshot its target. Thousands of years ago, your ancestors survived by constantly anticipating physical predators or unsafe environments. Today, that exact same survival hardware is scanning for social missteps, tight deadlines at work, and vague future uncertainties. It treats an upcoming presentation the same way it treats a predator in the brush. Your brain has trapped itself in a biological feedback loop. Because this is a mechanical reaction, you cannot break it by simply trying to outthink it. The trigger for this mechanism is a fundamental intolerance for uncertainty. The human brain evolved to treat any missing information or unknown variable as a direct threat to your survival. If your boss sends a vague text saying, "We need to talk," there is a gap in your knowledge. Your ancestral threat detection system misidentifies that abstract gap as an immediate life or death danger. This diagram shows a system called the default mode network. Think of it as your brain's baseline engine. It naturally switches on when you are resting, daydreaming, or quietly reflecting on yourself. But when that network encounters the trigger of uncertainty, it becomes hyperactive. It hijacks its normal, healthy self-reflection function and begins searching frantically for an answer to the unknown. The output of this hyperactivity is intense rumination. You experience excessive self-analysis and repetitive negative thoughts that cycle in a continuous glowing loop. Desperate to lock down certainty, your brain ends up just talking to itself in a closed circuit. It mistakes the friction of repetitive thought for active problem solving. This diagram illustrates what happens next physically. As your mind races, your body releases cortisol, the primary stress hormone, causing your physical anxiety to spike. This influx of stress hormones makes your brain hyper-alert. It starts scanning your environment for even more potential problems, which feeds right back into the mental loop, forcing it to spin thicker and faster. The physical toll on the body stacks up quickly. You develop trouble sleeping, your muscles tense up, and you experience chronic fatigue. Yet a psychological trap keeps you locked inside. Your brain operates on a false promise that if you analyze the situation long enough, the anxiety will eventually subside and leave behind an answer. Active problem solving produces an outcome. Overthinking is like putting a car in neutral and pressing the gas pedal to the red line. You're burning massive amounts of fuel without moving forward. Because your nervous system reacts to abstract fears exactly the same way it reacts to real ones, this illusion of productivity only guarantees complete physical exhaustion. It does not give you answers. Since overthinking is a self-sustaining mechanical system, you cannot logic your way out of it from the inside. You have to use physical action to break the circuit. First, force your focus onto an immediate physical task. Getting up to exercise, clean, or work interrupts the default mode network's idle state and gives your brain a concrete target. Second, write your thoughts down. Journaling acts like an external hard drive, physically offloading the mental clutter and pulling those repetitive loops out of your spinning internal system. Third, do a logical check. Ask yourself if the worst-case scenario you are picturing is actually likely to happen. Examining the raw data cuts off the loop's primary fuel source. There is a final, more difficult shift that addresses the root trigger: acceptance. Since the world is inherently unpredictable, the brain's demand for total certainty can never be satisfied. Acceptance works by teaching your nervous system that uncertainty is a neutral state, not a threat. This stops the default mode network from firing up in the first place. Overthinking is just an overprotective biological mechanism. Once you recognize that, you realize you don't have to believe every thought your brain creates. You have the power to step out of the loop entirely, to stop analyzing and start actually living.